He built a company out in the middle of nowhere. People were kind of like, what the heck is this crazy Dutchman going out in the middle of the country and building a fish place? If we think we got it figured out, then we're going to get bit. Have a big head too much. If I get stuck in my own ruts and my own thinking, I listen to podcasts and read books to keep myself on track. Sayings is cheaper than therapy. So it is nice to be able to have like-minded people that are in the same situation. People that have done the backyard smoking and gotten into the art of it. They can recognize it's worth it when you find good stuff. You get one bad piece of meat going through and it can give people a bad experience. Make products that are delicious and great, but also being able to serve everybody in a way that works for everybody on all levels. Being able to go to a peer group, bouncing ideas and issues with other people is priceless.
Welcome to the Culture from the Heart podcast on the From the Heart Business Network. In a business world where employees and customers crave authenticity and trust, hosts Larry Levine and Darrell Amy are on a mission to find and showcase heart-centered executives and the companies they lead. You are about to hear an inspiring conversation with a visionary leader that's bringing heart into the workplace, empowering employees, serving their clients, and uplifting communities, all to create true success. This is Culture from the Heart. The movement starts here. Let's begin.
Welcome to Culture from the Heart. I'm your co-host, Darrell Amy, here today with Larry Levine, and we're joined by Bruce Osterhaven, president of Big O Smokehouse, where they are producing ready-to-eat smoked fish, seafood dips of unmatched quality. Bruce, welcome to Culture from the Heart. It's great to have you here.
Hey, thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. We're going to have a good time, Darrell.
For sure. No question about that. And as we get started, Bruce, the question we ask all of our guests is, what does Culture from the Heart mean to you?
Oh, culture from the heart for me is just having the passion of not only the products that we're serving, but also trying to serve with, people that not only the people we're with, but also the people we're selling to. But yeah, it's all the way through. The heart has to be all the way through, and trying to make products that are delicious and great, but also, being able to serve everybody in a way that works for everybody on all levels.
Oh, this is good, and I know, Bruce, that you operate in the hospitality industry. And I could sense the word serve plays through and through. So when you think of serve and you think of that inside your company, what's serving mean to you?
Serve is really, it goes all the way through, but being able to give people the product on a consistent basis and listen to what people have to say. And you got to have the customer feedback, because it is tough with the food business. There's a lot of variables and a lot of things changing and a lot of shelf lives and a lot of moving parts. So being able to hear your employees, hear your customers, and hear what the market's telling you too. So.
Yeah, I love the concept of just thinking about the products that you produce and all the way through from the employees inside the company to the culture that gets all the way to somebody's dinner table. And just thinking about how what you do as a company literally affects the culture, the gatherings of families and all kinds of people. I think that's a beautiful perspective when it comes to thinking about the culture that you're not only creating, but also maybe enabling at a customer level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think especially in the food business, it's like if I wouldn't eat this product, when people are working out back, it's, not somebody that's, an owner, that, like, for me, it's always been family business. So it's like, I do take it personal, but when somebody comes in from the outside, why they need to understand why it matters, why they're doing what they're doing. So if they're not going to pick up and eat the product, if there's some reason that it doesn't look good or it's off, like, I want them to be able to get the message through all the systems so that we're able to produce what people want all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I want to zero in, Bruce, on this word that you just said. It was why. So I'm going to throw you on the spot, but I think you can handle this. Is what's the why behind Big O Smokehouse? Why do you do what you all do?
I realize that our product is a specialty product that not everybody needs, but I really do believe that it is a healthy option that can be used in so many ways. But my why is, I'm a little crazy with the visionary side of things, but like I do want to change the world through my piece of, making the smoked fish and being able to have a company that puts out healthy product that is good for people. And also, just having people be blessed through every aspect of the business,
I love it. I love it. I'm curious, how did you get started in this business? What brought you to saying, hey, I want to develop a company that provides amazing smoked meats?
Yeah, I was born my dad didn't get started in the smoked fish business till I was, I think, in 5th or 6th grade. And obviously I worked a little bit here and there, had to be racking fish, got nicknamed Chubs when I was playing basketball because we racked those little smoked chubs, and I just reeked like a fish because I don't think I even took a shower, and I went to a basketball game, and the coach is in the locker room, and he's like, "What's that smell?" And there's like, I got nicknamed Chubs. It wasn't for any other reasons in the shower or nothing like that. Don't worry. So but it's. Yeah, I got off track. What was the question?
Well, just thinking about how you end up in the smoked fish business. Obviously, your dad brought you into the business, and when you took over the business, I'm curious what your vision was for saying, hey, now that I'm running this business, I've obviously been involved in it through the years. Now that I'm running this business, like what was the vision that you said, okay, here's where I want to see this thing go, and what I want to do with it, in the time where I'm leading it.
Mm-hmm. I think the point, I never was a fish eater, and I didn't really like fish. And I went up to Hardy Dam in Michigan with my family, and my dad had just started the company, and he brought some of his smoked salmon out on the boat. And I wasn't much of a fish eater, and I tried it, and I was like, this is good. I was pleasantly surprised and thought it was great. And I'm like, this is something that I could get behind and sell. And that was really my aha moment for just wanting to be a part of the family business. It was believing in the product, I guess. So.
Hey, what's interesting about this, Darrell, is you really never know someone's backstory until you ask. This is classic, just understanding the backstory and bringing the backstory to life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I guess the whole company was started because my grandpa, he started Superior Foods. It was Superior Seafoods before, but then they changed it to Superior Foods, but they're in Grand Rapids as well. And my grandpa started that. I don't know how old it is now, but when he started it, he built a big fish processing. Well, he started downtown small and built up a market and started a restaurant or two. And then he started the food distribution side of things. And he built a company out in the middle of nowhere. And people were kind of like, what the heck is this crazy Dutchman going out in the middle of the country and building a fish place, So he had his vision, in that. And so he got that going. And then there was some things that went around, like with family business and the ups and downs. But then my dad and grandpa decided to start Big O, which was a complementary, company to Superior, and a good way to, mitigate loss, by using, turning product in different ways. So you got multiple outlets to use it, So they started Big O Smokehouse, and the smoked fish was really our main thing, which is not too common, but they had a big enough audience that it was big enough to make it work and make a living off of it. But over time, we do have our little O market that my daughter is actually helping with now too. But we do beef jerky and brisket and pulled pork and a lot of the other things. But that's the smoked fish and seafood is Big O Smokehouse. So that's we're federally inspected to sell that anywhere. And our vision is to be nationally recognized in the industry by 2031. So
I love it.
It was a 10-year goal, but we're getting closer. So yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, we're going to take a quick break to hear from our sponsors. And when we come back, we're going to dive deeper into this great family business story with our friend Bruce at Big O Smokehouse. Stay tuned. Let's be honest, finding the right people and building the right culture, that's the holy grail for every leader.
That's why we recommend Titus Talent, because they don't just fill seats. They help you build teams that thrive.
With their partnership plans, you get more than just hiring help. You get a committed team by your side that helps you attract top performers and retain them.
They bring strategy, data, and a human touch to talent optimization. No guesswork, just results.
So if you're ready to invest in your people and create a culture where everyone wins, head over to culturefromtheheart.com/talent to learn more.
That's culturefromtheheart.com/talent. Your culture is your competitive advantage. Design it with Titus Talent.
Welcome back. We're having a great conversation with Bruce Osterhaven of Big O Smokehouse. And Bruce, you were talking about just the multi-generational dimensions of the business and all of that. And now that you're leading the company, I'm curious, when you think about words that you'd like people to use to describe the culture inside Big O, what words would you use?
I don't know if I'm just going to go with our EO. I don't know if you're familiar with EOS, but we run on EOS. Yeah. But that's we're driven, coachable, detailed. I'm gonna miss one.
Put you on the spot.
And, we just actually went through our vision. Our vision casting, today with the whole company. So it should be fresh in my mind. But I want Big O to be, dependable is one of the biggest things. I don't want people to. There's constantly going to be things that you have to deal with, especially with the food business, where suppliers, you got to keep an eye out all the time because you get one bad piece of meat going through and it can give people a bad experience. So being able to set up the defenses to be dependable, and I think that's really something I pride ourselves on, keeping the quality and being dependable.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Bruce, I'm just curious, when you think about your core values, where does that play a part in when you're working with your customers?
It plays a part all the way through too. It's with hiring, firing, with employees, it's what we base, all of that on. But with the customers, it's all of our values come into play, throughout the coming in with new employees to making sure that the products are done right. With the smoked fish, details are huge, because there's so many ways that it can go wrong. It really is a lot of timing everything to make sure that you are able to consistently produce, top quality. So with the smoking, it's an art, and that's something where it costs a little bit more, for the smoked products, but people that have done the backyard smoking and gotten into the art of it, they can recognize that it's worth it when you find good stuff. So
absolutely. I'll raise my hand and say that is absolutely true as a backyard meat smoker. Hey, I'm curious. You said one of the core values of your company is coachability. So when you think about coachability, how does that look? How does that unfold inside your team?
Coachable is something that if people can have a good attitude, it doesn't matter if you don't know it, and especially our business too. Like it's so specialty. There's not really college courses for people to go and take a smoked fish class. So bringing people
maybe
in,
there's something new there. Maybe maybe it's time.
Maybe we can start something up. But if people have the willingness to learn and move forward and be coachable on how to get things done, it's something that you can work with. Once somebody's not coachable, then you you can't keep going, because that's just a core value that has to be part of how we move forward and stay on track. So
I want to continue to lean into this coachability, non-coachability just for a moment. So when you look at this through your lens, how do you determine, as a leader of Big O, how do you determine if somebody's coachable or not coachable?
It's really going to be a matter not of if somebody has a mistake or if somebody screws something up. We know that that's going to happen. So when it does happen, how do people react to it? If you have to write somebody up and, there is an issue with something, then do they come at you with a bad attitude, or are they going to be coachable and have an open heart and willingness? And it's not just to the people below. That's even more important to the leaders, because the people that are reporting to you, they're on the floor. A lot of times they have a key piece of the company that if that coachability doesn't flow upstream too, it can come around to bite you, because you got to listen to what everybody's got to say with what's going on with things on the floor.
So good. Well, hey, a huge thank you to our sponsors. We're going to take a quick minute to hear from one of our sponsors that make this show possible. And when we come back, more on this from our friend Bruce Osterhaven.
For many CEOs, sales feels like a black box.
You've got visibility into marketing metrics, financial dashboards, operational KPIs. But when it comes to the sales team, it feels like guesswork.
That black box, it's costing you, because if you can't see what's happening, you can't fix what's broken or fuel what's working.
That's where the Sales Index steps in. It opens the black box of sales and shows you the real story. Who's thriving, who's struggling, where they need help, and how much revenue is being left on the table.
You'll get clear, actionable data on sales behavior, mindset, and team culture, so you know exactly where to invest and how to drive growth.
So stop flying blind. Go to salesindex.ai and mention Culture from the Heart for 10% off an index of your sales team.
Sales Index, because when sales stops being a black box, you start unlocking real sales results.
We hope you enjoyed that message. Let's get back to our great conversation with Bruce Osterhaven of Big O Smokehouse. Bruce, earlier on in our conversation, you were talking about the generational history of your family, your grandfather, your father, and now you've been running the business since 2018. I'm curious, what advice would you give to other people that are in your position in terms of stepping into leadership as a kind of generation turns in a family business?
Specifically with family business, I'm in Family Business Alliance, which that has been a great organization for me, and I'm in a small group within that. So being able to go to a peer group and bouncing ideas and issues with other people is priceless, really. And one of their sayings is cheaper than therapy. So yeah, it is nice to be able to have like-minded people that are in the same situation. And I've been a part of the peer group for about 10 years now. And yeah, things have changed throughout everybody's business life within our group. And I think one of the bigger things that I would say to family business, anybody in family business, is trying to think about the long term, and so that you do know what the plan is. So if you're leading, if it is a parent and that's listening right now, making sure that you are able to set your kids up for success, and have clear expectations and stuff. I've had a little bit of a struggle with that because I think my dad, he's not really the type of personality to sell or give up the control. But I think he's now, I bought the business out in 2018, and he's already in a home with dementia. So I think that he knew that was kind of coming on. So he worked a deal out with me. But I think if you're a parent that's ready to put a good plan together, that will help your kids out for success. It might be a blessing in disguise that he, had to leave more abruptly, but keeping an open heart, like as a leader, I listen to lots of audiobooks and just try to gain knowledge from, lots of friends and peers. And I think as leaders, you got to reach outside yourself constantly, because if we think we got it figured out, then we're going to get bit. It's whenever I start to, I don't like to think I have a big head too much, but if I get stuck in my own ruts and my own thinking, I need to get outside myself and listen to podcasts and read books and all of that to keep myself on track and to think bigger and keep refining the vision to move it forward.
I love this conversation because a lot of times in the family dynamics, you start talking about wills and you start talking about estate planning. In a family-run business, becomes even more important because not only are you blending families together, you're blending business and personal together.
Yeah, that's where some advice and some planning, because every situation is different too. Yeah. Like if I tried to say this is how you do it, I would be wrong, because every situation and every family has a whole different set of circumstances. So trying to seek advice and put that plan in place. But there is resources if you reach out, people are always willing to help. So make sure that you are reaching out and trying to get advice and get help from other people.
Yeah, Bruce, I'm thinking about just rewinding back to that season in 2008 where, one day your dad is in charge and then next day you're running the company. You've got, the title in the office and everyone's known you growing up all the way back into high school, right? Stacking the fish and all of that. How do you make, what advice would you give to somebody who's in that position of having risen up through the ranks inside a family business and then, is now stepping into a president's role in the business? Any points or tips for somebody who's maybe got that on the horizon here sometime sooner, maybe right in the middle of it right now?
I was not always my dad's favorite. he had employees. I'm more ADD and all over the place. If you haven't already saw when I got off track before, but I think that being able to. What was the question again?
I love it. Well, we have that in common, Bruce. That's great. I'm just thinking about, we've got some folks listening in who are in family businesses and maybe they're finally stepping into the leadership role in that business as a second or third generation person. So as you think back to when you stepped into that leadership role, what advice would you give to someone now that you've gone through that in terms of, hey, here's what I would do maybe differently, or some things that I would say, hey, you should do this when you're ready to step into that role?
I think it is like what you guys, for selling from the heart, I think you need to lead from the heart. And one of the blessings of me starting young was that I did start racking fish and getting to know every piece of the business. I think for culture, you got to earn some respect from the people underneath, that are doing, and I'm not, underneath isn't really a good term for what I'm saying, but the people that are on more of the labor side of things, if they know that their processes and what they're doing, then you're going to get a lot more respect and a lot better feedback from anybody if they can relate to you. So as a leader, I was blessed in having that and growing up through it. So there was always the respect amongst my peers because they knew that I've been there and I've done that. And when I talk, then we don't always have to see eye to eye. And I've had to learn that there is more than one way to skin a fish. So, yeah.
You heard it here, folks.
Yeah.
Hey, Bruce, I'm so glad you didn't say skin a cat. You said skin a fish. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, we don't do any cats right now. But, we go global, then we'll see.
Hey, Bruce, thank you so much for sharing your heart and your insight with us today. We're cheering you on. This has been really cool. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Such good advice there. And I just, as we wrap this whole thing up, I know there's so many companies that are family-led companies that are making generational transitions. And I think the advice that Bruce gave in that last segment in particular is so important for people who are getting ready to rise up, into a leadership position inside a family business.
It's so true. And it's because what I could tell from Bruce is he knew every angle. He knew every angle of the business because he started young, so that when he took on this leadership role, people already knew Bruce, but more importantly, he knew every aspect of the business, which helps in building culture and building employee engagement.
Super, super advice. Well, thank you for joining us this week. Thank you to everybody who is subscribing to Culture from the Heart on YouTube. You may be listening on your audio app, which is fantastic, but we've got amazing content right there on the Culture from the Heart YouTube. Just click the link in the show notes or go to YouTube and search for Culture from the Heart. Thank you for joining us this week. We're excited about all the things that are coming up. We hope you stay tuned. We believe that culture is the heartbeat of every organization. And as Bruce has reminded us, it's about being intentional, especially in leadership transitions in family businesses. Thank you for joining us today on Culture from the Heart. Until next time, lead with your heart and watch your culture thrive.
Thank you for joining us on this journey to discover heart-centered leaders shaping extraordinary company cultures. To access a leader guide with notes from this week's episode, simply click the link in the show notes or visit us at www.culturefromtheheart.com. Do you know a CEO who's built a culture from the heart? We'd love to hear their story. Head over to www.culturefromtheheart.com and click the Nominate Your CEO button. Until next time, remember, great cultures start with the heart.